Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Young and Restless is set to embark on a murder mystery, with Genoa City's detective Chance Chancellor heading up the investigation despite the fact that he'd have no jurisdiction in Nice, France. But soaps are gonna soaps, so we not only need to prepare ourselves to suspend disbelief a tad, but also for someone to die. And for someone to be implicated in the killing. So, who done it? Keep reading. Having gathered as much intel as possible from various Young and Restless previews, all signs point to Damien dying and a knife being involved. Kane, of course, would zoom to the top of the suspect list, given he'd just fired the man for planning to spy on him and is jealous of his involvement with his ex-wife Lily. That said, it would be a little obvious for Kane to kill Damien and expect to get away with it under the circumstances. After all, he did lure him, along with the others, to the remote estate in Nice with murky motives. No, if he really wanted Damien dead, he'd at least get someone to do his dirty work for him. That's where our suspect comes into play. We all know Amanda is working closely with Kane, but she's highly unlikely to agree to take out anyone on his behalf, even if they are connected to Devon's family. The only other associate we're aware of is Kane's creepy assistant, Carter, about whom we know virtually nothing. Thankfully, during a recent interview with Michael Fireman TV, Carter's portrayer, Vincent Stalba, provided some very telling insight into his character. After referring to Carter as cold, menacing, robotic, very polished and professional, Stalba teased, "Carter is very loyal and he will do anything for his boss. So, whatever he needs done, Carter will make sure it gets done." This would be an innocuous observation if not for the fact that someone is about to be murdered, which then makes this level of devotion downright chilling. Might Carter take care of Damien as part of an elaborate plan put in place by Kane? Or perhaps Carter will simply take it upon himself to take out Damien, believing he's doing his boss a big favor. Either way, egad, do you think Carter will kill Damien? Vote. As the Young and the Restless murder mystery kicks off, the cold, menacing side of Spoiler comes to light. The moonlit opening. A single shaft of moonlight slashes through the opulent interior of Chancellor Winter's corporate penthouse. Expensive artwork, an abstract whirlwind of red and black hangs coldly on the walls. The only sound is the distant humming of the cityscape far below. Within that hush, Spoiler stands alone, silhouetted against the city vista. Cool, measured, unreadable. For a moment, a smile touches their lips, a predator, acknowledging the taste of blood in the air, even if it isn't their own. Rumor echoes through Genoa City. Word of the murder spreads faster than wildfire. Someone important is dead and everyone has a motive? Office whispers weave through the halls of Chancellor Winters and Jabot. Days go by with pounding hearts and watchful eyes. Spoiler seems oddly They walk the halls with the confident stride of someone who knows what's coming and who might, just possibly, have given it a nudge. An ice queen or mastermind. When questioned by Mariah, Spoiler tilts their head, expression cold. "What are you accusing me of?" The question, casual in tone, carries weight. Mariah senses a hardness behind those eyes, a sting of menace. Not violence but far more unsettling. Spoiler is a stone wall with a razor edge. Flashbacks as clues, we glimpse past moments. Spoiler, arriving late to a meeting with a key witness, smirking as someone made a mistake in the parking garage. An eerie email with no subject line, "I know what you did." Each flashback paints them as composed, precise, merciless. The dinner party. Genoa City's elite gather at society's newest hotspot, Ardjue's rooftop bar, illuminated by fairy lights, with the stars above and city lights below. It seems like the perfect facade, yet tension coils in the air. Spoiler sits at the table like an alabaster statue, expressionless, distant. When a bereaved family member accidentally grazes their hand, Spoiler withdraws swiftly, eyes narrowing. A predator's reflex. Detective Harris arrives on scene. Genoa City PD sends Detective Harris, or perhaps it's a private investigator, depending on the scope of your fictional universe. Either way, Harris is sharp-eyed, relentless. They focus on Spoiler early on, noting an unusual alignment, unusual schedules, proximity to both victim and key players, cryptic communications. Harris begins to theorize that the killer isn't a desperate lover or business saboteur. It's calculated, pre-planned. Pre-meditated. A quiet confrontation in the office late one night, while everyone has gone home. Harris corners, spoiler. In the sleek, glass-walled conference room. Harris, your alibi doesn't check out. Spoiler, you have nothing. Harris places a photo on the table. Spoiler talking to the victim, 5 days before the murder, smiling friendly. Harris, you were angry. Spoiler draws a slow breath, voice low. Are we ever not angry, detective? A threat more than a question. The tipping point, a key witness someone close to the victim contacts. The detective with new information. A voicemail they never deleted. A recording that features Spoiler's voice. Urgent. The atmosphere crackles. Everyone realizes this is it. The pivot point. Stormy night showdown, the heavens open. Rain hammers the city as Detective Harris arrives at Spoiler's apartment with a warrant. Flashing red and blue lights bleed through the blinds. Spoiler stands by the window. Looking out, not panicked, observing. Harris' hands trembling with adrenaline and rainwater. You're coming with me. Spoiler, with an almost bored exhale. I'll wait for the paperwork. There's a chilling confidence in their calm posture. Unwavering. Menacing. Mind games begin in custody. Spoiler is calm enough to play games. They smile at an old friend when brought to the holding cell, an act of theatricality. I confess nothing, they say softly. Except that sometimes, justice needs a gentle nudge. It's a challenge laced with ambiguity. The detective knows this is no ordinary suspect. The ice is deep and refuses to crack. Family ties and dark ambitions. Genoa City buzzes with speculation. Why would Spoiler do it? We glimpse small-town origins, humble, overshadowed by ambition. Then a transplant to the big city, rising ruthlessly. Everyone speaks in hushed tones, cold as winter's heart, beautifully stone-faced. They deserve justice, but can justice reach inside that frozen core? A sudden turn, unexpected confession, a shocking revelation. Spoiler claims they found the victim lying there already dead. They called the police. But Harris knows inconsistencies spring under scrutiny. The story shifts slightly each time. Were they panicked or lying? The cold monologue in a private encounter. Harris confronts Spoiler with contradictory bits of testimony. Spoiler, in that moment, is a study in controlled menace. You see someone cold. I see someone who did what had to be done. Their voice is even, unshaken. No remorse, no regret, just finality. Collateral damage mounts. A secondary character, maybe a confidant or lover, is pulled into the chaos. They hide information. They cover up. They wear guilt like an ugly cloak. In one night of panic, they confess to Harris, but absolve Spoiler. They're the only one who knows how to stop the victim. They couldn't let it carry on. And still, the language is sterile, composed. Trial day, Genoa City courtroom. Spotlights glare. Journalists crowd the gallery. Harris presents the tape, texts, the discrepancy in timestamps, but every time a thread is pulled, Spoiler darts away, deflects. They look at the jury with that same cold gaze, still unbending. Even sympathy from the gallery is blunted by that gaze. The verdict, guilty or not. That's the pivot of the finale. Maybe they're found guilty, sent away still unmoved. New confession, new remorse. Or maybe there's a hanged jury. The case collapsed is them, but the city is forever changed by the knowledge that someone so calculated walks among them. Either way, the freeze is palpable. Spoiler becomes a legend of menace, cold, aloof, a force behind glass. Aftermath, the silence of the ice. Post-trial, we revisit that penthouser, their new home if they died or left town. Silence reigns. The artwork on the wall looks differently now, splashed with blood in memory. Maybe a friend visits, touches the countertop and flinches. They say, "You were nothing like I thought." Spoiler pauses. Lips twitch. Most people aren't. The final image, the show closes on an extreme close-up. Spoiler's eyes. Cool, distant, but in their center. A flicker, the slightest dash of emotion, then gone. The music builds. The screen fades to black. Why the cold, menacing side resonates in canny detachment. Emotionally remote characters unsettle us because they're unpredictable. When someone doesn't feel like us, they're harder to understand and harder to trust. Calculated menace. Violence for passion feels one thing. Violence as a tool or statement, as this murder seems to be, is more chilling. It's premeditated, iced up power and control. Spoiler doesn't break. They dictate the narrative. That's terrifying because it's so intact. Menace doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. Calmly. Character study. What makes Spoiler chilling trait effect on viewers on Genoa? City unfazed composure creates unease in calm silence shifts. Power dynamics in every room. Meticulous planning makes motive unclear. Keeps viewers guessing, makes them unstoppable till someone stops them. Lack of remorse. Cold guilt. Rabs.